Hello, I'm Mark Mason, Communications Manager for Dash, and on today's Ask Me Anything is Marshall Greenwald, who is the CEO of CrayPay and the founder of DashDirect. Welcome to the AMA, Marshall, and thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Mark. I'm excited. This will be a lot of fun.
I'm sure it will be. Okay, for those of you watching, before we begin, I'd just like to do a quick overview of the format. Today's AMA will be for 60 minutes. The AMA will be broadcasted live on several social media platforms. Can I kindly ask for those of you watching to like and share this video stream so we can reach as many people as possible? Please feel free to start submitting your questions in the comment sections. We will do our very best to answer as many of your questions as possible. Please do try to keep your questions as short and direct as possible. And while we wait for the first few questions to come in, I have prepared a few questions to start with. So with all that out the way, let's begin. Marshall, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thanks, Mark.
Fantastic. Here we go. First question. Doesn't get more basic than this. What is DashDirect?
Great question. DashDirect is a mobile payment app that allows holders of the Dash cryptocurrency to spend it instantly at over 155,000 places in the US and additionally save money with those purchases. A couple of things to highlight. There's no exchange going on. There's no fees. It's absolutely free. And if you have Dash, you store it in your Dash wallet. You make your payment in store or online instantly. It doesn't get much better than that.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. And another question that I think maybe people learning about the DashDirect for the first time, there are other crypto gift card solutions in the crypto sphere. So can you tell us how DashDirect is different from other crypto gift card solutions?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with all of them, but I've spent the last couple of years looking at the solutions in the marketplace, and a couple of things stick out to me. And the community has mentioned things that they see as well. So just kind of giving some high level view. I think there's a couple of features that make this really important for the crypto community. Number one, it is non-custodial. We do not take possession of your keys or your money. You have full control of your money. You leave it in your Dash official wallet from Dash Core Group. And when the time comes to make a payment, you actually use the Dash wallet to make that payment. So I think that's a really important factor. The second differentiation is because it's non-custodial, we don't do any KYC. You simply put in a name, email address. You do turn on two-factor authentication to secure your account against unauthorized access, but we don't do any KYC. You're in, you can start using it and making payments right away. There's no cost associated with the purchasing. And on top of that, we're giving an average of 5 to 5.5% cash back. In some instances, up to 10 and 12%.
Excellent. So I'm sure many watching this in the Dash community are familiar with DashDirect now, but they might not be familiar with the man behind it and the team as well. So can you tell us a bit more about your experience in the payments industry? Because it's quite extensive. I think you have over 20 years experience now, right?
Yeah, you're aging me here, man. Yeah,
sorry.
It's okay. It's been about 21 years now. So I started a payment company while I was in college, and actually left my educational path to start that company and focus on it full time. That company has now served about 5,000 businesses in the U.S. We've done about 5 billion in electronic payments, and I've actually been involved in developing different software solutions and integrations that whole time. So it really helped lead me towards seeing what merchants and consumers really need, how we could design a better payment system. And that's when I met Dash and everything kind of came together.
Excellent. Well, you say meeting Dash. This is a really interesting question because I think the application itself with DashDirect has been very well received from the community. And I was just saying before the stream started that a few crypto other projects have been reaching out to me on LinkedIn because they've seen the social media graphics showing some of the merchants with the discounts. And they're saying, how is this possible? And they're like, is this just Dash only? So this seems to be a common question for those unfamiliar with Dash. So like, they're asking me like, Can you explain why there isn't a BitcoinDirect? Why are you using Dash as a payment method? Why is Dash fit for purpose? Why you do this with Dash and no other cryptocurrency?
Yeah, it's interesting. I am asked that as often as any other question right now. Obviously, Bitcoin's always been in the limelight. It's kind of the one that the general public is aware of, and I think it's a shame that the news cycle doesn't talk more about utility. But that's more of a symptom than the problem, right? The symptom of the problem, and the problem is that there isn't a lot of utility. And Dash has been really hyper-focused on that utility for years. Back in 2017, when I was looking for a cryptocurrency that we can use to enable a better payment system within our own patented systems, we didn't find one, right? And it wasn't until Dash had the instant send as the default, and the cost was so significantly lower than other cryptos, I went, aha, you can actually take a payment at the register, do it instantly. We don't take any risk that payment's going to go back. And then it's very cost effective, right? So it's cheaper than a credit card. It's faster. There's no risk of chargeback or fraud. And so it was kind of a no-brainer to say Dash is the one that we want to integrate here. And I think on top of that, the Dash community has built these other things like the DIF and DCG and the DAO to help support businesses who want to work with them. So I think all those things factor in, but I definitely got to say the utility, the speed of transactions, and the cost. I mean, I spent Bitcoin to my son because there was a website for a game. It only takes Bitcoin. And he was waiting all night for it to clear. It was 6.5 hours before he could actually buy the game he wanted. And I just went, that is not how peer-to-peer cash is supposed to work. So he switched to sites that support Dash, and it's instantaneous now. And it's so much better for him and for me.
I think this comment just summarized it. Listening to you, BitcoinDirect would certainly hold up the line just because of the confirmation times and everything else. So Dash really is fit for purpose. And as you're saying, you're focused purely on utility and you want a product that's fit for purpose. So it makes total sense. So I did actually have a few other pre-prepared questions, but we're actually getting lots of questions coming in. And some of them aren't really going to surprise you, but I think there are valid questions. So, okay, DashDirect Europe, when?
It is really early for us to say when we can go into another jurisdiction. I love that the community has been really rallying behind this and wanting us to be available in their region. There are some things in the works that could help us to be global sooner than later. It would be a shortcut. We would have to otherwise develop a bunch of merchant relationships and integrations region by region. And unfortunately, the systems that we would access them through are not global. So, for example, even if Home Depot has locations here and in Canada, that doesn't mean that the ownership is the same, or that the gift card programs are the same, or that the point of sale system is the same. So there's a lot to consider on that besides all the legal and financial implications. But we do have some thoughts about that might accelerate it. But in the meantime, we will definitely let the community know when we have updates on that expansion.
Excellent, thank you. Can you just break down what the complications are? Because it's how that works on the back end, right? So I think people just need to understand when you support different other fiat currencies, it's not just plug and play like Switch. You have to there's a lot of work it entails to actually to make this happen.
Yeah. So for example, I think one of our first purchases that we saw from the community on DashDirect was a Chipotle. Chipotle uses a QR code scanner. And that QR code isn't just native to their system. We have to actually generate that code in their point of sale system, deliver it to the user instantly, and have them actually recognize when they scan it that this is money, right? And this money pays for this bill in full. And then on the back end, we actually have to decrement a portion to give a discount back to the user and a portion to give us margin. Otherwise, we wouldn't have any margin to be able to do this. And then we settle to them via ACH, but ACH is a North American thing. And so even in other regions, we don't even have the back end rails to settle to the merchant, let alone necessarily the ability to generate the same QR codes in their point of sale. Then you have things like localization of currency, localization of language. Now, that's not to say this is not something we can do. We actually have built apps that are outside of just the US, and we have localization support for currency and language. There's also a lot of crypto regulation uncertainty, right? You got to look in each jurisdiction and go, how will this particular government view what we're doing? Because even though we are working with a decentralized network, we are not a decentralized company. We are privately held, and therefore we have to consider, really consider the legal implications and the risks involved for our investors and our stakeholders.
Excellent. Thank you for giving a bit more background on that. As expected, lots of questions about Europe. So I've been trying to, they're all the same. So I've been trying to flick them through up. But this one's also about Europe, but it also mentions about Amazon as a merchant. Now there are, so many merchants already at the brands you all know and love. Obviously, Amazon is a very popular merchant with other gift card crypto solutions just within the Dash community. I'm not sure if you can specifically answer to that particular merchant, but maybe this is a good time to address maybe the elephant in the room, because everyone has their preference at shopping in certain locations. So I guess perhaps now's the time to ask, will you be adding new merchants in the future? And what is the process? Is there a process for the community to be able to request what merchants they would like to see you add?
Yeah, I love that everyone wants to use Dash everywhere they can. I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm going, oh man, I wish this place was on DashDirect today, and I'll reach out to them and see if we can do something. There's a couple of things to note. So the initial question was about Amazon. I don't know if the cat's out of the bag already on this, but we have a lot of really exciting merchants coming in the near term. We just launched PetSmart and Airbnb. There's another big merchant coming Friday that's unique among our network as far as what they offer. It's not Amazon, but a very exciting one that I'll be using frequently myself. And then we have about 45 other merchants, major brands in the pipeline. Some of them are, e-commerce, some of them are restaurants, some of them are retail. So we want to support the community by enabling everyday shopping using crypto. If we can help everyone live off of crypto for the most transactions possible, I think we've done a good job of supporting that cause. And so absolutely, Amazon's a target. There are other targets as far as like grocery stores and gas stations. Some of these brands, it's more of a policy thing. Some of it's more of just the due diligence process they go through. But I will mention a couple of really interesting things. We've seen the network effect already. As there's been growth of the DashDirect user base since launch, there are brands that are now more willing to kind of test it out. Now that it's live, they can go, okay, how does this actually affect me? I want to see it in the real world. They'll download and use it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'd love to do this. And so it really helps to get the support from the community. So if you have brands that you'd love for us to add, I would actually recommend posting them in Discord, and I can pin them so that we can, keep track and go back. I could start a poll where people can submit a request on our website as well at dashdirect.org. But yeah, anywhere that you can interact with us, please, share those, and we can use that as impetus to go approach the brand, or even we may already be in negotiations with the brand, can help us kind of push them over the line.
Oh, great. Yeah. Community power has helped a lot in the past, especially over exchanges. So with the community wants to request, they can message you on Discord. You're active in the Dash Discord community. If you're not in the Dash Discord, staydashy.com. Should be easy to remember for those that follow me on Twitter. And I guess also after this AMA, if they write in the comment section, or if there's any questions we don't get to, would you be able to look at those and perhaps respond to those comments and questions as well?
I don't know if I can have access to them, but if I can, then absolutely, I'd love to.
Fantastic. Well, that's great to know. So when you go to add a new merchant or these new merchant listings, how are you notifying the community? You sending out push notifications? Like how can the network best be informed with the latest and greatest in DashDirect?
Yeah, as a new product, we wanted to make sure that users are aware of the major updates. So we've been sending an email to anyone who registered for email and hasn't opted out. You can, of course, opt out of those emails because they are marketing focused. The second way is through push notifications. If you enable notifications in the app, you can do that under the settings. And then the third way is we are posting on Twitter through the official Dash Twitter account. And I shouldn't say we, I'm not doing it, but you guys are. And so there's a couple things to note. When we add 3 or 4 brands that are kind of similar, we might just do one notice. We might not do any notice at all. The bigger brands, obviously, if and when there is one that we feel is exciting and will get a lot of utilization, we're going to promote that so that people know it's available. As an example, Amazon was the question. I think that's one, if we didn't push it, we'd be doing if we didn't tell you about it, we'd be doing a disservice to the community. You may go, I just made 3 Amazon purchases before I realized it was on DashDirect, right?
Absolutely. We've just had a question in from someone that you're very familiar with, Joel Valenzuela, who did a video interview with Marshall on the Digital Cash Network YouTube channel. Don't go away just yet, but I would encourage you to watch that afterwards. So thanks for the question, Joel, and for the video interview with Marshall. Very good, very insightful information. Okay, so he's got a question, and it actually relates to your proposal, which we haven't discussed yet. So maybe we should probably go over the proposal first than Joel's question. So is that okay if we go for because I think before going,
I think his question can be answered without that.
Okay. But, yeah. All right. So Joel asks, do you see any realistic risk of the gift card scene, including Visa payments, being no longer viable one day due to regulation shift in the space? Or is this good forever?
I would actually split that maybe into Visa versus gift card, because those are very different from a regulatory perspective and from a kind of functionality perspective. So great question. Loved my time with Joel, by the way. Really great guy, fun to talk to, great questions. So the direct answer on the gift card side is this should be good forever. There's so much advantage to merchants by leveraging their gift card networks, and yet those are kind of a legacy rail as well. They're similar to Visa in that they're kind of built on other things. As merchants find things like DashDirect that can access a consumer more immediately, it gives them a marketing channel where they don't have the same kind of cost and risks and regulatory oversight as a Visa transaction. So it actually competes with Visa, and that's why I'd say maybe split those into 2 things. But the gift card rails, there's billions and billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in gift card transactions every year in the US alone. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. There is a specific rule set out by FinCEN called the prepaid access rule. And then within that, there's a bunch of content, and one of them is for closed loop gift card resellers. That's the rule under which we have built our framework for everything. It is possible that FinCEN could say they don't like this structure anymore and they want to change it. We're hoping that doesn't happen. And if it does, we will definitely push back as much as we can. And I think the entire gift card community will push back, but it would impact things as simple as going to a grocery store and buying a gift card to a merchant, right? If they were to say you have to do KYC, nobody would buy gift cards anymore. But rest assured, we will find another solution if that happens. We actually have tech that is not based on the existing gift card systems. It's just hard to implement at these national retailers. So I think that's my answer on the gift side. On the Visa side, there's still so much regulatory uncertainty for us to even explore. I wouldn't be able to answer that without legal advice first, but I don't think Visa is going away. I think we all know that. The question is more, will we still be able to facilitate what we want to facilitate in the proposal in the future? And I think the answer is, if we can do it, it should be good long-term.
Okay, excellent. And is it okay if we discuss the proposal briefly now, just up, because not everyone's a Masternode owner, so they may be not familiar with the recent proposal that was submitted to the network. And I think it's monumental. It'll be biblical for Dash, and it's got 1 day left, but it's passing right now, so I can't see that changing. So let's cover that right now. So can you explain what is the DashDirect Virtual Visa Mastercard network proposal about? Marshall, are you still there? Right, I apologize. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties right now. I'm just going to message Marshall as he's not live for me right now. Oh dear. Well, keep the questions coming in. I've just messaged Marshall and hopefully he's going to reconnect. So I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a laptop battery dying or whatnot. But yeah, thanks, Joel. Yeah, I think I'll just freestyle there. So for me personally, I think DashDirect has been an absolute game changer for Dash, and it's changed the way that I pay for my everyday goods and services. Now I'm in the United States, and I understand why there is so much envy, especially with the questions with regards to can we have it in Europe and other locations, because it really has made living on Dash much easier. Right. Oh, Marshall's back. Here we go. Hey, Marshall. Great to have you back.
Hey, sorry about that. Technical issues. I guess my internet decided to go out in the middle of the interview.
No worries. I was just evangelizing, spreading my experience with DashDirect and how I feel it's like a game changer really for the crypto space. It's mostly based on speculation, but this utility is just amazing. And yeah, no wonder we're the envy of a lot of projects. So let's just circle back because we started to address the question about the proposal. So let's bring that question back up. So what is the DashDirect virtual Visa Mastercard network proposal about?
Yeah, in a nutshell, we're looking to serve the community by expanding the merchant network rapidly. Right now, we have 155,000 locations. We're adding more and more, but it is a lot of work to add each merchant. And so we look at the Visa, Mastercard rail systems, and we believe we found a way to apply what we're doing within DashDirect with the gift card networks and apply it over to a prepaid card within the Visa Mastercard system. And this would allow a holder of Dash to keep their money in their Dash wallet, go anywhere that accepts, I'm going to say Visa, but Visa or Mastercard, we haven't decided for sure, and transact instantly for the exact amount of their purchase with their Dash wallet. We would generate a virtual card that is within the DashDirect app, and they can either copy and paste the number into a web browser to check out, or they can click a button to provision that into their NFC wallet, whether they have Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, or Google Pay, and pay by tapping their phone on the device. We are looking to keep the features that we love and the community has said they love about DashDirect. So we want it to be non-custodial. We'll actually be using our funds to support the transaction, and the user will pay us with Dash. If we can keep it non-custodial, we can minimize any kind of KYC requirement and still do things instantly for free. So that's in a nutshell what the proposal is about.
Excellent. Well, I know it's got many people excited. I mean, literally spend Dash anywhere. That it doesn't get any major than that. And I think the response from the network on the proposal has been, it says that as well. I mean, it's quite overwhelming majority. So, right, let's get back into the questions. Now, I know you're not a tax advisor, but there was a couple questions about tax, and I want to make sure we cover everything. So Dave asks via YouTube, what are the tax implications of Dash usage in the United States?
That's a great question. So tax is a complex question, especially in the US. My basic understanding as a layman is that the government views cryptocurrencies, not just Dash, any cryptocurrency, as an asset or commodity. And therefore, if you have a capital gain or loss, that you report that on your taxes. Now, we don't have anything to do with that directly. However, we will give you the tools so that you can see the exchange rate that you had at the time of a transaction, which comes directly from the same exchange APIs that the Dash wallet uses. Published, I believe, by CTX. But the reporting, we're looking to enhance that. So at the end of the year, you can just click a button and get a report of all your transactions and exchange rates. But beyond that, obviously seek your own tax counsel, legal counsel on how to handle it, how to report it, if and when. But yeah, similar to like exchanges, right? They have a tool, or many of them have a tool that helps you at least hand it off to a CPA who can then work with that information.
Excellent. Great answer. Oh, this one's an interesting one. Metrics and stats. Now, you didn't have any time to prepare any data beforehand, but I think this one's a really good question to add. Have you seen an increase in users or total amount in US dollars in the use of DashDirect through the time it's been active? So how's it been from day one? Are you still seeing new users being onboarded to the app now? And in terms of usage, has it remained the same or is it increasing?
Yeah, we're only 3 weeks in since launch. I generally do my first analysis after a full 30-day cycle. And even then a full calendar month. But I have definitely seen the trend of increased utilization. I think as people become aware of the app, there's been an increase in users, but I think also once somebody's kind of comfortable with it, they've used it a couple times, it takes away the anxiety of trying something new at the point of sale, right? So for new users, I'd recommend like a couple of things. Go try it on an e-commerce site where there's no pressure around you having to figure out what you're doing. It should be really simple. We've tried to make it simple, but that it's still something new for everyone. So I would try it on an e-commerce website first so that there's no pressure around the timing. And then secondly, I'd say make sure that you follow the instructions on the app. We tell you before you make the purchase and after what to say to the cashier, to the server, how to check out. All right. We try to make that as direct and succinct as possible so that you don't have to like scramble to figure out what to do. I think also we're seeing people make bigger and bigger purchases. And I think part of that's due to fluctuation in the price of Dash. I think it's up like 100% since the launch of DashDirect, and I'm not taking credit for that. But people are seeing that they have more opportunity, more spending power. And so we are seeing an increase in utilization on a daily basis and a higher average transaction amount this week in particular.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We've got another question from Joelle. Some people have been asking for alternatives to inputting your phone number, such as authenticator apps, or Authy, Google Authenticator, for example. What are the prospects of that? Has this been raised to you already? Is this something you're looking into?
Yeah, Joelle is like aware of all of the discussion sometimes before I am on it. And so absolutely, Joelle, I think may have been the person who brought it to my attention. But yeah, that's a great question. There's a little dialogue on Discord, and it was suggested that we look at alternative authentication tools because we're not using it for KYC. I know somebody could just go sign up for a Google Voice number or something and use that. But there may be privacy advocates who say, I don't want to use a phone number at all. And that's fine with us. We're not using it for anything other than authentication and securing or authentication of the app login to keep it secure. So Tuesday morning, I have a stand up every Tuesday morning with our dev team, both onshore and offshore, and we'll be discussing that, putting it on the roadmap. I don't see any reason not to do it. We actually have two-factor authentication options through Firebase that are available to us. So we can use an existing integration to bring those tools in.
Fantastic. Excellent. We're getting lots of just like one-word comments and merchants that they like. We've got Scott the Striker saying Costco. I mean, I would love that one, to be honest. Yeah. I know my missus would be extremely happy with that. Love Costco. I guess you can neither confirm nor deny, but at least acknowledge the request.
There are brands that are really attractive to users that are harder to fit. So the pitch from us, just so everyone understands, the pitch from us to a merchant is not we can move money for you, right? They have that down. Costco has last I checked, 145 million members. They do a massive amount of volume in payments, and they know how to do it. In fact, they've negotiated deals with Visa previously, with American Express, like all these different payment rails directly. So it is not very likely that we're going to be able to get a deal with them because of those factors. But even still, if they didn't have that, you talk about somebody like Sam's Club, they're membership based, right? So how are we going to propose that we drive people to be aware of an opportunity to spend at Sam's Club when you've already paid for a membership and you're already going there regularly? It dilutes our value proposition to those merchants in certain industries. It's I think still shocking that we can get brands like Amazon. It's hard to say we'll make people aware of you. So we've kind of turned that on its head a little and said, hey, these are people who already have assets and they don't have an easy way to spend it with Amazon. We want to give them a simple way to transact with you, because if there's an alternative to spending with you that is easier, that creates friction for doing business with you.
Excellent.
I hope that was a good enough answer on that.
Yeah, great. I'm still imagining doing my Costco shopping, but I appreciate every conversation with each merchant is unique, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a simple solution. Many conversations have to be had. So it's much appreciated. And I guess there is quite a discrepancy in terms of the amount of discounts and savings you get via each merchant. So I guess those communications and the onboarding process for that alone takes up a lot of your time. So I think you said earlier, you said like 45 new merchants in the pipeline. Was that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Blimey. Okay. And what's the timeline for adding those? Is that going to take months to do, or is it just ongoing conversations?
No. So 45 with whom we are already contracted.
Wow.
Yeah, there are hundreds in the pipeline at various stages of negotiation and awareness. You mentioned the discount. It really comes down to three things. What does it take to drive user adoption at that brand? And I would argue it takes more incentive at somewhere like a sit-down restaurant than it does something like Amazon. Interestingly enough, the number one merchant today, do you want to take a guess, Mark? Which of the ones that are live today in the app, which one has had the most dollar spend? You want to take a guess?
I was going to say probably fast food, like something everyday groceries, so maybe DoorDash.
DoorDash is high. It's actually the Home Depot. Now,
really? Is the value or the volume?
Yeah, the value per transaction, right? But the reason I point this out is that the Home Depot doesn't allow any discounting. And so it's actually one of two merchants right now that has zero cash back on the transaction level. And yet it's the number one utilized. So obviously people wanted and have now access to spend their Dash at the Home Depot. And the savings is kind of like a secondary consideration, right? And so the large brands like Costco that are attractive, that might be the solution, right? Is saying to them, we won't discount it. Now, will they still give us a revenue share? I don't know, right? We haven't gotten that far in those discussions, but there are industries where that is the big thing. So what does it take to drive consumer adoption at their brand? What is available in margin for them to even commit to a marketing program? And then the third is, do they have any kind of like policies that would prevent you from doing anything on a cash back level? And there are brands that have those restrictions. So I think that hasn't inhibited their value proposition significantly, but it is a consideration, right? If I had a Home Depot and a Lowe's next to each other, I think for me, I would weigh out for a $500 purchase. Do I want to save 3% or zero? And that would factor for me. But obviously the community's volume has spoken that they like the Home Depot and that was important to them to have it. So
interesting. Yeah, because I always assumed with the merchants that you've added, like the everyday merchants, like the everyday, if you wanted to pick up a coffee or buy your weekly grocery shopping, those things. But then again, I think I read the other day, like Amazon, as we've been discussing, has like 80% of American households are signed up to Amazon. Like that is just a juggernaut. So, and I'm sure Costco, as you mentioned, has so many members, millions and millions of members. So I think these things really will open the floodgates as well. Even people that aren't in the cryptocurrency space as well, just that utility that it gives, just being able to pay via the mobile, really is I know I keep saying game changer and that gets used way too often, but in terms of cryptocurrency and payments and what's come before, it's made it frictionless. It is that, we really focus on ease of use, and this has made my life a lot easier, being in the crypto world. So that's what we're aiming for. Right. Okay. Well, so questions come up, which we kind of addressed kind of in the beginning. This is rephrased a different way, but we're an open book here. You can ask any question you want. So let's go for this one. So would you consider supporting any other coins beside Dash? If so, which ones and why? I guess it's a question of, is it possible in terms of their utility? But I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. At the risk of divulging too much, I would say it's interesting to us. There are some solutions we're thinking about. We do have some discussions that would be very interesting, but they wouldn't be the same as DashDirect, right? So DashDirect, the reason that Dash is the reason that we can actually do this in a non-custodial way, because the cost and the transaction times are already solved by the Dash network, not by us, right? And that becomes the biggest hurdle to working with another coin. So just as an example, I've said this before, so forgive me if you've all heard this before, but it doesn't make sense to me to go into Chipotle, use something like a Bitcoin transaction to order my lunch, and then come back at dinner when the transaction's confirmed and pay $45 for the burrito. Right? That's just a non-starter, right? The other example I've used is, there's all this uncertainty around how long the transaction will take. It's not like it tells you this will be confirmed at this time, and so you can kind of end up sitting around waiting, and if you think it's going to be fast and then it isn't, or it can really make it inefficient for retail transactions. So there are custodial solutions. They're pretty much, I think there's a lot of difference, right? Other apps that are doing something with gift cards that are custodial, but they end up also doing fixed amount. There's no geolocation to show you what's nearby. So you're doing like a $50 or $100 gift card and you have these balances and it's kind of awkward. It's not really payments. It's more just buying a gift card. We don't want to go down those types of paths. We want to keep it as close to what we're doing today as possible. If somebody from, another network pops up and says, hey, this coin will do everything Dash can do, then great. We'll definitely entertain it because we're a for-profit enterprise. The DIF is invested into us. We want to be successful as a corporation, not just within this one app. But I don't have like a near-term prospect for launching like a Bitcoin solution that would match what we're doing with DashDirect.
Well, thank you for answering that. Someone did follow up with a comment, which does kind of make sense. So as opposed to a cryptocurrency, an actual stable coin, there's a lot of stable coin platforms offering quite attractive returns. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've looked at, like USD Tether or USDC?
I'm not sure what the need is. So I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think it's a really interesting discussion topic, and we could probably spend a lot of time looking at it. If the point is to hold it where the value is not fluctuating with market trends, then I don't know why we would need a stable currency. We can just enable you to put that into your balance with us, and you can still spend it anywhere in the network, and the price is not going to fluctuate. So I'm not sure what role it would serve, other than if somebody wanted to keep it outside of our network. But then the question is, you're still keeping it with somebody, right? Whether that's an exchange or something. So I don't know. I'm not sure I know that it solves a major problem, but I certainly would be open to it. If it's fast and it's cost effective, I certainly don't have any opposition to a specific solution set. I really just want to solve the problems that the community sees and that we can solve.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me personally, I'd kind of flip that question on its head. I mean, to really attract the biggest target audience, especially in the United States where it's active right now, would be, instead of doing a stable coin that's pegged to the US dollar, would be to actually just enable the US dollar directly, and then it's open to everyone. But I guess that's for a rainy day. With our previous question, to guess which merchant, there were lots of suggestions put in. AMC Theatres, obviously as a joke, Subway, Home Depot, actually guessed correctly. There was a question that's put forward. I know this is something we spoke about behind closed doors in terms of BizDev meetings, so I'm not sure how much you want to divulge. But for me personally, this is close to my heart. So I'm really, actually, It's great to know that people in the Dash community are on the same kind of wavelength here. So Halawe asks, if we had a built-in MNO or Masternode share reward system in the mobile Dash wallet, that would go really well with DashDirect spending. So I know we've spoke behind closed doors about that earn functionality. That's that missing pillar really in the cryptocurrency world right now, that vertical buy, sell, but to be able to earn. Is this something that you've looked at, and is this something that interests you?
Yes and yes. I think building an entire ecosystem is really important. You have to be able to get in and out of the financial system today. And I hate that that's the case, because I wish that everyone just transacted with Dash directly and we don't even have to worry about bridging and getting in and out of different currencies. If we all got paid in Dash and we all accepted Dash and all the merchants accepted Dash and they paid their taxes in Dash, we wouldn't exist though as a solution set, right? We're trying to solve these problems. So absolutely, it's of interest to us to figure out how somebody who maybe heard about this, they're interested in crypto, they download the app, how can we make it really simple for them to get Dash, hold it in their Dash wallet, and start transacting without fiat being involved. So I think, and actually, Mark, I credit you for pushing this to the top of the discussion topics in a couple meetings, because it is the way that is most obvious to get somebody Dash is give it as a reward. So there could be implementations where you spend fiat and get Dash. There could be implementations where you just make it really easy to get Dash. We could do something where you share and get Dash back. The question or the challenges still exist though, in that once you start putting fiat transactions in there, then you open up more regulatory oversight, and all of a sudden we've got KYC, we've got custodial issues, and it's like, oh man, we really want to solve this in a way that doesn't disintegrate the value. So we are working on it. We are very interested in it. There's also opportunities to do like a share and earn. We have some technology around that. It's not built around what we're doing with DashDirect specifically, but I think it can be adapted to do so that a user can download the app, have a share code, send it on social, send it directly to somebody, and earn for sharing it with other people. There's definitely some work to be done to make that make sense. And again, we haven't decided, do we want to give you USD into your balance, or do we want to give you Dash? What does the community want? What would actually drive that kind of viral growth?
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. I think it's definitely an interesting area. And I don't want to deviate from the Q&A too much, but this is something I'd personally like feedback from the community on myself, because I'm not sure if the terminology is right. At the moment, I'm kind of calling it sustainable staking, because I think it's the ultimate combination to shop with DashDirect and stake Dash. Of course, cryptocurrency is highly volatile asset right now. And of course, buy, sell, and if you're spending it, we spoke about spend and replenish before. But I think the real value, and for me personally, what I'm doing in my day-to-day is, I will hold Dash and then spend the rewards so you can support the Dash system and do that. And I guess that kind of some ways connected to the previous questions as well about other cryptocurrencies, because Dash having that feature and functionality to do that isn't available with other certain cryptocurrencies. So it's very well suited. Someone put peanut butter and jelly, Dash and DashDirect go together like peanut. Okay, yeah, that is a very Americana. That does go well. So I'm not sure how to dub that. So I'm not sure sustainable staking is the correct way to do it, but what I will say is, I know this staking thing in the mobile app has come up quite a lot, and this isn't appropriate for this AMA, but I am working on business development right now. I'm working on a one-click staking solution with another partner and those conversations are moving forward with the Dash wallet, mobile wallet. It's a trusted solution, but it's a one-click staking, and I'm very excited about it. It's a working API, but it's probably going to be a long time, many months before it will be implemented. But I think that in combination with DashDirect is the perfect marriage. It is like perfect. And I think there's nothing else like this in the marketplace. So thank you, Halawe, for your question. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I really think in terms of onboarding new users, and it's a value cost proposition for people like, why should I spend Dash? Or if I buy Dash, I can do this. So I really think that is a fantastic question. Marshall, do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're very interested in, I guess, the arena you're kind of talking about is dipping our toes into DeFi and really supporting more than just transactional needs, but actually storage needs and earning needs. And so we definitely have that as part of our vision, part of our roadmap. DeFi is so new, and there's regulatory questions and stuff like that. But I love the concept of being able to say, hey, this is your all-in-one, this is your DeFi bank, but it actually goes beyond the DeFi bank because it actually enables transactions that aren't available and savings that aren't available on the market other places. So I think it's a great fit. Like somebody said, peanut butter and jelly for the non-US viewers. That just means it goes well together. But yeah, I love it. So definitely keep the ideas. And by the way, if anyone has suggestions for partners that are exchanges that do staking, support Dash, those would be fantastic and greatly appreciated, because I'm doing that review myself very manually, kind of in between other projects, and it definitely would be nice to get a jump start on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Marshall. Well, this one isn't so much a question. It's more just an acknowledgement and a thank you. CrayPay and Dash is by far the best partnership Dash has had. Kudos to the DIF, Dash Investment Foundation, and the huge PR campaign to get this out. Thank you for the PR campaign. Thank you for that. We actually haven't spoke about the DIF yet, so I guess we should address that. So the Dash Investment Foundation has taken equity in CrayPay, and DashDirect is a product of CrayPay, and Marshall is the CEO of CrayPay. And you know, with a lot of DIF equity investments that we have, they support different currencies. And I think quite often in the Dash community, you know, we want to keep everything for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And these questions about supporting other crypto assets and everything else, it's always an interesting one, but it's actually a positive feedback loop, because mm-hmm. Dash actually benefits from any other activity mm-hmm. that you would get from the network, right? So, and I think this is the secret sauce. And mm-hmm. I don't think many people still fully understand that. But I think for the future of the Dash Investment Foundation, it's very unique. And I'm sure there may be people watching this that may be even unfamiliar with the DIF. Can you just say what your experience was like with the DIF in the first place? Because how this all came about, I know this was unique because it was a kind of a combination of Dash Core Group, the Dash Investment Foundation, and CrayPay coming together. So can you just talk about like the origin story? Because I think that will really help plant the seeds in people's heads how this came to fruition.
Yeah. By the way, thank you for the comment. Like gave me goosebumps to hear that. So this is really exciting for us. I mean, this is many years of, you know, thinking and hoping for this type of solution. And so we're very, very happy with the partnerships that we have with Dash. I alluded to this earlier that other cryptocurrencies, I can't like reach out to somebody and partner with them and get our development costs subsidized and get an investment from, like, that doesn't exist to my knowledge outside of either totally centralized companies that are, you know, maybe affiliated like exchanges, but they're not a cryptocurrency network. Dash is the only one I know of that has this. And so there are actually three, and I hate to even call them entities because I'm not even sure the last one is an entity, but so Dash Core Group partnered with CrayPay to build this, to white label our technology, to add the integration to the Dash wallet, and they are paying ongoing towards the development cost to subsidize it. But it's not anywhere near. We spent about $500,000 building this technology that was added on to our existing technology, which we spent about $5 million building. So there's a substantial cost to get, you know, to invest into this. So as I was talking to Dash Core Group and their directors about like, hey, you know, this is going to be really expensive. Like, how are we going to get this to work? They said, go talk to the DIF. And the DIF then comes in and says, hey, look, we're going to give you initially 100,000. Now it's 200,000 they've given us. And in return, we're giving them equity in the company. Okay, so you're right. That's a positive feedback loop. No matter what CrayPay does outside of Dash to drive value, Dash benefits from it. The masternodes ultimately benefit from it, right? If I understand how that all flows through properly. And then there's the DAO, right? And it's like we have this concept for the Visa Mastercard program, and it's like, how do we go get backing for this? You know, it's going to cost $150,000 to $250,000 to go launch something of this scale, and then we got to support it, and we got to actually float all the funds ourselves on every transaction. So the DAO, it's been well received. It has officially passed. I think it will pass. But we wouldn't be able to do this without these 3 different entities to support us in doing so. So props to Dash for having the structure and the foresight to do this. And then I've got to throw out a last thumbs up that on the PR side. Mark really fronted all those efforts to get us in front of, I don't know, thousands of publications that I don't know how he had the time to do it, but he did, and we got great coverage. So I want to share as well, this is not anything that's done, but we've had inbound requests for investment, acquisition, partnership, driven by that media attention. And so again, this positive feedback loop, Mark does a great job putting us in front of, getting us out there in the limelight. People get excited about the solution. They come to us and go, we want to buy this, or we want to invest in this, or we want to do whatever. And then again, that benefits the equity ownership that the diff has, which then benefits Dash. So it's a great, cycle of it's a very synergistic relationship.
Absolutely. And we're getting some great comments. Thank you for saying that, Marshall. That's very kind of you. People concur in the comment section. Halawe's followed up saying that, yeah, great point, ground level, CrayPay. The diff in itself is something that's not well understood in the blockchain. But I once again, I think that's Dash's secret sauce, as well as the decentralized autonomous organization that you referenced as well. It's still not acknowledged. I still don't think it's priced in. And as Dash grows, it's only going to become more powerful. So it truly is great. I'm a bit conscious of the time. We've only got 8 minutes left, and we do have a couple more questions, but I hope the audience will forgive me for being a bit more selfish, because when you launched the DashDirect app, that was the MVP. Mm-hmm. And I would like to finish this AMA by talking about a future roadmap, because you have a phased approach, right, on things that you would like to integrate. This isn't the finished article that you launched with.
Right.
And maybe MVP is probably not the best terminology to use for the average Joe. But this is just the starting ground. So can you just talk a little bit about your future roadmap and some of the things that you would like to see integrated into that? Like, what's coming with DashDirect? Like, what can people expect in the near short-term future?
Yeah, and I have a very talented team behind me, and we are like strategizing these things right now. And I really care about their feedback. And so I would be a little selfish myself to kind of preempt that and give too much clarity around it a little early. But let me speak to it more generally. Right now, we've designed DashDirect to serve those who already have Dash. And I know the community's been very excited to share it with those who don't already have Dash. So we want to make it very friendly for newcomers to crypto, newcomers to Dash. That could be through the earning opportunities for somebody to earn crypto rather than to buy it. It could be a KYC free or a reduced KYC opportunity to buy Dash and do it instantly within one experience without going through multiple apps and websites to do it. And then the Visa program. Obviously, I'm hopeful that proposal will pass and we can integrate that. And then we've got a host of other things we can do at that point. I mean, look, I'm trying to solve for how we can do buy now, pay later with Dash, which I think is pretty cool. You go in, buy a laptop, but you're only paying 25% of it right now, and then you pay that over time. So there's some really cool solutions that we have within the fiat world within our tech stack. We're trying to solve for how to fit those into non-custodial, decentralized network of currency. And I think that it opens up value creation that isn't possible with fiat, reduced risk potentially, and better margin, and therefore better incentive for the end user.
Excellent. Thank you, Marshall. That sounds very exciting. Like credit financing, DeFi, crypto, Dash. Wow, sounds like there's a lot of things in the pipeline, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with you. And I'm very grateful that you mentioned your team. Your team's been fantastic, and your developers have just been bang on point. And I'd like to give a shout out to the Dash Core Group developers as well. The mobile team specifically have been absolutely stellar in this.
I've not had a bad experience in dealing with any of the organizations or individuals. It's all been great. The community is amazing. Even on Discord, sometimes you ask me a question and I know you don't like the answer. When are you coming to Europe? And I don't know. And I know that's disappointing. I know you want me to say this is the date and it's going to happen. But the community has been really respectful, really understanding, very supportive overall. So I props to all of you. Like if this community had been different, I think I would be less bullish on investing our own capital into finding new solutions to bring to you and your community. So keep supporting us, and we'll keep supporting you. We love it.
Excellent. Thank you, Marshall. I know I said that was the final question before, but just a few bits of feedback from the community. This was from Tao Satoshi from Cash Alternative TV. DashDirect solves that ever-present question people ask, what can you actually do with it? And I totally agree. And that's why I'm so bullish and happy that Marshall is here, and he's actually showcasing the utility that Dash provides. And Marshall, there's actually a few comments throughout the AMA about the piano behind you. And I'm not sure how serious this question is, but it might be nice to finish with. Who does Marshall think is better on the piano, Stevie Wonder or Sammy Davis Jr.? Was it Sammy Davis Jr.? He was more of a singer than a piano player, I believe.
Yeah, but, I would say Stevie Wonder, but I'm not qualified. I mostly play Baroque, classical, or romantic. So I play Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, those types of music.
Absolutely. And another question came. Sorry, this isn't a question, just another feedback. Joelle, yeah, once again, I should have given props to Joelle. Joelle's been fantastic. It's not just a video interview, but yeah, Naomi Brockwell as well has been fantastic, not just on CoinDesk, but with the video that she did on her own channel on YouTube. If you've not seen it, please do watch out. It highlights Joelle living on cryptocurrency, and it's real, it's genuine, it's authentic. If you are a cryptocurrency advocate, regardless whether you're in Dash or not, you have to watch that video. So thank you, Joelle, as well. Much appreciated. This really is across the board effort. You know, if you want to see cryptocurrency used in the real world, Dash is making that happen right now, thanks to partnerships with CrayPay and making DashDirect possible. And it's only going to get better from here. So if you have not downloaded the DashDirect app yet, Marshall, where can they go?
DashDirect.org has the links to download on the app stores. We'll also add a direct download link shortly as well, per request from the community. And yeah, check it out. I think we have almost all 5-star reviews. We'll keep pushing to earn your respect and your 5-star reviews in the future. And we love this community, so keep it up. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, that will conclude today's Ask Me Anything as we're close to the 60-minute mark. We hope that you found this Ask Me Anything to be informative. I'd like to give my thanks to Marshall for taking part in today's AMA. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Excellent. And I'd like to thank you all and give you a massive, massive big thank you for everyone that's watched and participated with your questions today. Please do let us know in the comment section if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you follow the official Dash social media profiles to stay up to date with the latest and greatest in Dash news announcements and product updates. And if you've just come across this stream, just on your social media platform, just going through your news feed, and you're new to Dash, and you're like, what is this? You can learn more by visiting dash.org, www.dash.org. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheerio.